G.S.C Chronicles contains adult content and adult language, so please remove all children from the room. And if you are not in a private setting, meaning if your ass is at work or at church or around some people you don't want to know that you on some freaky shit, please wear headphones. Welcome to the G.S.C Chronicles. On this podcast, we focus on alternative relationship styles, kinks, fetishes, as they relate to the black community and all people of color. So sit back and enjoy the show.
Welcome to the G.S.C Chronicles. On this episode, we're probably going to continue some of the stuff that we were talking about on the last episode. We got the whole same crew, little T, Shay, and Penelope. So,
Lady Shay.
yeah, on this show, we're going to start off with Penelope reading the article, and then we're just going to take off into that discussion.
Alright, so this article is titled, Women Get Bored in Bed Faster Than Men. Says, a growing body of research suggests that keeping sex exciting is an issue for women, especially in a years-long relationship. Contrary to what the distracted boyfriend meme might have you believe, women grow disinterested in sex with a long-term sexual partner faster than men and report lower sexual satisfaction. Wednesday, Martin argued this in a piece she researched and wrote for The Atlantic called The Bored Sex. The article mentions an English study from 2017 which shows that women have less interest in sex when they have been together for more than a year, and women who live with their partner tend to feel less sexual desire than women who don't. Another study published in 2012 tells us that the longer a relationship lasts, the more women's sexual desire decreases, which is not the case for men. And finally, the results of a 2006 German study show that while 60% of women want to have frequent sex at the beginning of a relationship, in the 4 years that follow, this figure drops to less than 50%, and after 20 years of relationship, it falls to about 20%. The libido of men, on the other hand, generally remains stable throughout the duration of a relationship. It confirms what I've seen in my patients for years. François Renaud, a sexologist and a psychotherapist specializing in questions of desire, told Vice Quebec when asked about the phenomenon. Women have a tendency to get bored faster than men in a monogamous relationship, Renaud said. They want a form of sexual variety, while men are often content with very little. It is often women who will lose their desire first, and sometimes even quickly enough. Among couples who come to see him, the sexologist says that women often think that their spouse would have trouble accepting that they are more sexual than their partners, to protect a little bit of the male ego in the role of the man who teaches sexuality to women. Women curl up a little in the modest and conservative position, says Renaud. The couple's sex life then continues as usual, growing comfortable, redundant, and predictable. Renaud sees this as a product of how society views and understands female sexuality. For a long time, they have been categorized as the kind that wants less sex, but in truth, women's sexuality is repressed, and women are taught to quash their sexuality. Slut-shaming is a good example. The sexologist noted that one mistake couples make is to think that frequent sexuality is proof of satisfaction, as if just doing the activity was a guarantee of success in itself, and as if bad sex in heterosexual monogamous couple doesn't exist. There is also the question of the pressure that the partner feels, the idea that it's better to turn away from a partner rather than face rejection. The first time you have sex with your partner, there is always anxiety and a fear of rejection. At some point, we become comfortable in the relationship, and we do not want to live this insecurity anymore. The sex therapist works with couples to try to maintain that stability and security while creating a sense of exploration with their partner. Often when couples tell me about their sexuality, I tell them, I feel like you're masturbating in each other, and often women will tell me, absolutely, that's what we do. We used to have an orgasm, but there is no sexual relationship. A better idea, according to the Renaud, is to bring as much variety as possible into a relationship so that the sexual activity remains interesting. To make his point, he compares his couple's sex life to a water park. If you always do the same slides, you end up bored. So happy sliding to all, and don't forget to change it up a bit.
Sliding.
In my experience, I
would say that I've never been below my partner's sex drive. I've either always matched it or had a stronger sex drive than them, but it always was still kind of more centered around the guy, even though it was me who was wanting to have sex more than them, if that makes sense.
It does.
Yeah. That's how it was for me.
I concur.
As a guy,
And I don't even know why y'all should have a problem with that, to be honest.
well, I can only really speak for me, right?
Yeah.
It just comes a point to where you have done everything humanly possible with your partner numerous of times. Like, boredom is gonna hit. I think that there's an idea that there is some secret to keep sex as good as it was in the beginning throughout the whole duration of your relationship, and I don't think that's a reality. You know what I mean?
Why?
Because it's like, even if you have two people that are very vanilla, right? They're very basic in what their sexual knowledge is. And say they get together and they pledge to each other, we're going to explore everything we can. At some point, not only have you going to explore everything you can, but you're going to have done it to the point to where you're tired. And then the fact too, like, I know for men, and this was funny, I've only heard one other dude verbalize this correctly, right? From the first time a man sleeps with you, his want to sleep with you decrease. Sometimes
That's
it's
exciting.
quickly, sometimes it's over time. But from the very first time we have sex, it's downhill. Some dudes, that downhill could be over a 40-year span. Some, it could be over a 50-year span. Some, it could be a year, a month. But it doesn't go up. Because what it is for us to look at a woman, lust after a woman, fall in love with her, then have that initial sex, yeah, it's, you know, some of that may plateau, but at some point it does get to that. And then too, that goes back to how we can orgasm. Whether it was at the height of my passion for you or I didn't like you anymore, the nut's still gonna be the same for me. Whether I love you or not, the nut's still gonna be the same for me. So after you 10, 20, 30 years in a relationship, that's why a lot of societies, mistresses were incorporated into that structure.
So,
Now we see it as cheating or some side chick shit, but whether it was India or Asia or Africa, there was always this other incorporated into that. Because after a certain amount of time, your man ain't gonna never fuck you as passionately as he will after fucking another woman.
Now that is really fucked up.
To who? It's only fucked up to
mean,
people.
to who?
Hold on. It's only fucked up to people who believe we're like pigeons and it should just be me and you until we both die. Anybody else who has any concept of relationship outside of that, it's not morally wrong. It's not repugnant.
I'm not even looking at it morally. I'm looking at what the damage is to the woman.
Why?
if that's not something y'all cool with.
That's telling her, oh my God, that's what I would get out of that. You're boring. There's nothing about you that is enticing or that I even want to look at anymore. Why are you here? You're telling me that you don't even desire me anymore. Oh, that's over. You're an old shoe.
That's why we're different. As you see it as
That's rejection. That is a
That he
rejection.
came home and fucked the shit out of you?
That you had to go look at another woman in order to come home and fuck me. That means you don't even appreciate who
That's
I
not what
am
said.
anymore.
I said after a certain point, the level of passion that a man will come home to. It's just the same. Strippers serve the same purpose. What a woman can nest and create, I love you, just me and you. Every fucking thing you do is really about me. Anytime your eyes go somewhere else, it means something about me. Your sex drive goes down, it means something about me. This is why we're different. This is why men may go out or go to a stripper or whatever. I don't think we're as self-projecting on our partner as a woman is on us. A woman, every fucking thing about us has really to do with you. And anytime we fall out of that, well, what does that say
Not
about
everything.
me?
Not with me, not everything. But okay, maybe this is an area where I'm crazy. I'm not gonna get tired of looking at you. I can be angry, fucked up, get on my goddamn nerves, but you sure looking good in them drawers, nigga. I'm gonna carry that unless you start morphing out of shape to where it's like, okay, now this you need to go to the gym, baby. I ain't talking about like that, but maybe it's the discipline I have or whatever.
Let me ask you this, right? Because a lot of that does still come from that me and you monogamous that standard.
Why?
Because there are so many components that even made that function, right? There are so many things that are incorporated in that conditioning to keep you just me and you.
Why can't it be just your beauty that's captivating? Why can't it be that?
This is a good point. Check this out. So it is easier for somebody who's straight. So take a black man. He's straight. He's only attracted to black women. He has a black woman.
Okay.
His want and desire for variety is much more smaller than somebody like me. If I'm with a woman and she's like, well, I could be all your variety, okay, turn into a white girl, turn into a midget, no, you can't. Because I'm not just attracted to this. I've been with all kind of women, all sizes of women. I'm attracted to a wide variety of shit. Then, especially like women, 90%, no, 90, I would say 97% of the women I've been with have been bisexual. I can't grow a vagina. How long do you think a bisexual woman can just strictly be with a penis and never desire a woman? I can never make love to her like a woman can. I can never give to her what a woman gets from another woman.
But okay, hold on. I get what you're saying. I hear your point. But if she's bisexual, that changes the ingredients altogether. You understand that?
Yeah. And this is what I'm saying, right? Do you know how many women I know who are in monogamous marriages, their fucking husband don't even know that they like women? Because they can't say nothing. Because as soon as she says, well, I am sexually attracted to women, oh, these are the cracks. And these are the trust issues. Because at some point you're going to realize, I can never fulfill that. This is a desire that my wife has that I can't fulfill. What we like to do is, our love should put you in a state of suppression. You're not allowed to desire another person. You're not allowed to love another person. You're not allowed to talk. Any fucking thing you do outside of me and you is a break in our love. That's how monogamy and monogamous love works. That's not really how the fuck human beings are. It is not. Because if it was, it would come out in so many other things in our life other than this. Love is also a construct. Because if you go to India, Yeah, you may look at arranged marriages as some ridiculous shit to them, but to them it's a cultural norm. And the act of growing to love somebody you're married to is more normal than the thought of, oh, I fell in love and got married. For us, we're taught you find that one and it's special and it's a spark, you fall in love, you get married, you spend your life together. You go to Muslim countries, the concept of one wife is foreign. The concept of you only can love one woman for the rest of your life is foreign. What we view as love is only so much emotional and the rest is social. The rest of that shit is a social construct. And when you look at each individual country and culture, the way that marriage has formed over the years has a lot to do with how they survived, what the landscape was like. Was it agriculture? Was it farm? Was it hunter-gatherer? All of these different things play a part, plus religion. And religion don't even play as much of a part as we think it does. It's more of a vehicle to add the guilt and shame of going outside of certain boundaries. It's not what specifically made the actual structure of it. So when you look at America, if these concepts that we were told about love were true, we wouldn't have a 75% divorce rate in this country. We wouldn't have the realities that we have. We wouldn't. I asked somebody, how many successful relationships have you had? Oh, I had a couple. No, you didn't. They ended. That's not success. If your relationship is ended, you've never had a successful relationship. The only way you can say you had a successful relationship that ended is if that motherfucker died. Because a successful monogamous relationship is we couple until we both crow, or one of us crows. To go into a relationship and it
I've
ends,
seen that.
it was unsuccessful. Yeah, but I'm saying that happens. But what I'm saying is the rate of that. Even people always love to go back to their grandparents because we love to romanticize our grandparents' generation. But I don't give a shit if you white, black, Asian, Indian, grandparents. Granddaddy usually had another family. Grandma usually had this other friend. Nobody talked about that shit. Nobody mentioned it. And even in the black community, that shit usually didn't come out into a fucking funeral. And that family and this family is now in the funeral. And the fucking kids is meeting for the first time. It's usually some argument and shit. My grandfather had a whole nother fucking family with 6 other goddamn kids. Especially in this, man, that shit was prevalent. The realities of what we see about
separate?
yeah, the realities of what we see about relationships doesn't fit the concept that we're given and we try to mold to. You know what I'm saying? Even the concept of non-monogamy is so fucking taboo. I grew up poly. That is my relationship orientation. I've had gay motherfuckers go, that's fucking nasty. For real? You just sucked a dick that was in your ass. And you're saying because I'll date 2 people, I'm disgusting? I support your shit, but that thought, because love, relationships, and marriage and that structure is just as hardwired and ingrained as religion, cultural norms. You know, it's very. I always ask people.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So are you saying that it's impossible to be monogamous?
No.
Okay.
My personal belief is that these things are orientations. When you look at, so one of the things about human beings, we have this ego where we separate ourselves from other mammals on this planet. Even though we function just like any other fucking mammal on this planet. We have social structures, hierarchies. We have ingrained parenting things, the way we breathe, the way we mate, for all of these things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Certain animals will mate for life. One of them will die, they won't mate again.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them will mate for life, one of them die, they'll find another partner. I just watch bald eagles. Bald eagles are in trouble right? It's two male bald eagles and a female. And what was funny is that female was a replacement from another female that was in there, and they taking care of all these little birds together, right? You have some human beings to where whether genetically or socially they can't function outside of monogamy. It's just what their orientation is. You got some people you will never get them to conform to that. You know what I'm saying? I believe the rate of monogamous people is minuscule compared to the population. You know what I'm saying? And when it comes down and you look at stuff like sexual desire, getting bored, attractions, and all these different things, in America, our kind of Christian created view of like love, relationships, and marriage is very much based on holding your desires, fighting desire, fighting lust, quote unquote sin. What you do is you kind of put a time clock on shit, right? And I see this in so many relationships. You're dating a guy, you know he does not have a monogamous bone in his body, and your fucking ego tells you that your love is gonna change this motherfucker. He may for a time be able to abstain from his outside desires, but it's a clock that is ticking. Me personally, I'll buy into monogamy as soon as somebody shows me one other thing in existence to where you're only allowed to love one. I need corroborated data. Because anything that's natural and normal shows itself in life in multiple facets. You look at water. Water is a true natural essence of life. Whether it's in us, whether it's in plants, whether it's to the planet, whether it's to fucking lizards, amphibians, whatever. Everything needs water. It shows itself constantly over and over why it's so crucial. Love is a key component to human bonds. But only in this society, this European Christian created society, are we given love is one. Period. And you can track that back to verses out of the Bible. Two become one and da 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 da. But you really can't find anything outside of that corroborates that.
Outside, okay, I got tangled. Outside
Like,
of what? What do you?
Outside of these Bible verses that says one man, one woman.
You mean other
come
forms
together.
of canon?
No, just in life, right? Like, if you look at, put it like this: when you read the Holy Bible, the Quran, the Torah, the Sikh Bible, the Hindu Bible, the Dharmapada, all of these things, right? Things that are true and natural repeat through all of them. Don't fucking kill nobody. Don't steal. Don't disrespect your parents. Don't want what's not yours. Right? All of these things are like real natural things, so they continue to show themselves. But me and you, and that's it until we die, that doesn't repeat itself. Plus, there are so many social things around it. The fact that when Europeans created their structure, royalty, nobility, last name, property was a big thing. Who can marry who was a big thing. Dowries was a big, all of that shit played a part in it.
Okay.
So I feel like when it comes to the moral thing, because when we sit and we look at like relationships and love and how these things work, it becomes a moral judgment, ethical shit. We look at, and this is the thing, for me too, it is a moral thing, right? I'll look at a dude who cheats as immoral, right? Unethical. But I believe if you and your partner had a discussion and and this is within the confines of what you guys agreed upon, it's great. But because we don't really live in that society where it's really an open option, people cheat, people lie, people hide things. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
If it was a cultural norm that my woman could come to me and go, babe, you know I love you, but I met this person, I really just kind of want to knock it out right quick, da 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 da, and that would be okay. That shit would happen a lot more. It ain't got shit to do with us. It ain't got shit to do with the love we got. You know what I'm saying? Men, and this is the thing, in every fucking argument where a man gets caught cheating, the first thing out of his mouth is, nigga, it was just sex. Like, I don't fucking love her. Because the key is, for women, it is very hard for sex to be disconnected from that, right? Only in instances where they need it. So when your physical desire gets to a point to where you want to knock off this dude, then you understand. But when you're in the throes of love, you don't understand the other person needing that lustful or, release or whatever with somebody else. Men, and this is the thing, men, when we fall in love, it's not sexual. When we fall in love with a woman, it has nothing to do with sex. Sex is a very separate thing to us in general. Once we fall in love, then sex changes for us with that person. Women, to me, their love is more about sex than any fucking thing.
Ooh.
Because if you knock that motherfucker out the box right,
Wow.
and this is the whole thing, every time you dissect why the fuck you mad at him, you're looking at another woman, you're talking to another, all of this shit is insecurities around fucking and sex.
Partially. The other part is the competition that is existing between the two women. Because women are constantly comparing themselves to one another. She ain't prettier than me. Well, how come you... Nigga, at least you could have got somebody with some ass.
I tell you,
Her weave is all... She got this old plastic weave. What is you doing? That's the other half.
can I tell you a secret?
That's
To
something?
all three,
Sure.
and
Let me calm
everybody
down.
listen. There is no competition. There is not one competition a woman could win against another woman. There is nothing that you could do to make me choose you over somebody else that I want. The shit you may go through with her on some competition shit don't mean a fucking thing to us. Not at all. If I want you, I'm with you. If I don't want you, I'm not with you. If I don't want you, there's nothing that you can do to make me choose you over her.
That's true.
There is no competition. The fact is,
That has not been
All
my
of the shit-
experience whatsoever.
there's not nothing. If a man is fucking two women or three women, there's really nothing each one of them can do to make him really, unless the only time that works is when you have a man that is not financially able to take care of himself, and the woman who is more financially taking care of him gives an ultimatum in for survival because he a hobosexual, he has to go that way. But if you have a man that is fully self-sufficient, right, to where his choice has nothing to do with his survival, it is not one thing that any one of them women can do to make him go, oh, you won, you're better than her. Because why I'm fucking her ain't really got shit to do with you. Why I'm fucking her ain't got nothing to do with either one of you.
So
That's a concept women don't really like to get. They like to think when your man straight got something to do with you. It ain't got shit to do with you. You're not a Chinese albino midget. Niggas, my dick said I want that. And I went and fucked that. Ain't had nothing to do with you.
and that for you doesn't affect your relationship with that other person? Is that what you're saying?
Only for her if she let it. it's not gonna deviate the love, the support, me being present. None of that shit. That shit really happens a lot when men are kind of putting this thing of, I gotta hide this and I gotta move like this and I gotta do that shit. You end up not being able to be present with either one of them. You know what I'm saying? When I'm in poly relationships, Google Calendar is the best thing popping. We all put in our time and people can talk. She could be like, hey, I got something planned Friday. I see on the calendar, you two are going to dinner Friday. You know, can I have that time? You know, shit like that. It's fucking adult conversations, and there's never I have to hide this, lie this. I can't be here. I can't be there. I'm ducking and dodging. None of that shit. It's just like you're in love. You're out one night. You see that fucking Aquaman dude. He's standing at the bar.
No. Make it.
I like the Aquaman dude.
I do like the Aquaman dude.
I'm a big
I do
fan of
like the
Idris Elba.
I
Aquaman
like
dude.
that kind.
Or
I like
any
that.
one of them, right?
Idris Elba, anybody?
If you see this
Idris Elba?
motherfucker, right?
My future 007?
Yeah. You
Hopefully.
see this motherfucker, right? What does him banging you out in that stall that one time really got to do with your fucking life?
Denzel Washington in his prime?
You know what I'm saying? Or even when you take it further, right? So the poly relationships that I've been in, me and him, we cool. We talk. We got a friendship. I've been in
Okay,
situations
but
where
That's a little
guys call
advanced,
me.
though. I don't
No,
feel
no.
like everybody can.
But this is a benefit, right? I was in a relationship, and I'm gonna call him Mr. X. Mr. X calls me and he says, "Yo, man, did you notice, man? Last couple days she's been down and shit, blah blah blah. Yeah, she seemed kind of sad. Now me and him are discussing what's going on with her, right? We support her. It's not a competition with me and him. We're all in this relationship. We know there's something wrong with her, so we support her. We make sure that we're there for her. People, what's going on with her, what does she need? What does her feelings for him got to do with her feelings for me? What does my feelings for her got to fuck to do with him? I understand it takes a lot to get to that kind of individual thought,
Yeah.
but just think if your mom was like,
please stop.
you
Please.
don't fucking love me because you love your dad. Or your kids was like,
No, you cannot apply that.
Yeah, I don't know. If you I get what you're saying, but
No, you can't.
why can't your kids be like, you don't love me because you love my fucking sister? Because love can't be divided, right? You can't love two people. You cannot love two people.
That's not what I'm saying. No.
This is what I mean by show me anywhere else in existence where love is not automatically divided.
You can't. With the family dynamic, that is, you cannot use that to me in an example of or how monogamy will not work, because the child is the result of the two. So you cannot say that against a child, saying I have to pick one parent against the other. That's not an example
I
to
see
me
what you're
of
saying.
monogamy. That's not an
So
example to me
why-
of monogamy.
Why in this relationship does it just have to be in love with you? What makes that so different? Because when you look across the planet, you look from the time we started walking upright until now, you look at every variation how human beings have bred and had kids and had, relationships. What makes this one in America that sprung off in Europe the correct one? Because you got all through South America where there is no concept of mommy and daddy. Nobody knows who the fuck these kids belong to. Everybody raises these motherfuckers together. This woman does not know who the fuck sperm made this baby, because that's not even how they breed and mate. Every man in this village is a father to every child in this village, and every woman is a mother to every child in this village. And they've been doing that for hundreds of thousands of years. When you look throughout the Middle East and Africa, people have multiple wives. Like, there are so many different ways that we have had relationships and we have been in love. What makes this one the valid one? If you follow that route to why this one is planted here, why we grew up in it, why we were conditioned with it, it has roots and it has a reason.
Okay.
And my thing is, I do not believe monogamy is the only valid form of loving a person romantically, because you cannot duplicate that anywhere else. As soon as you say it anywhere else, you can only love one dog. You can only love one child, one parent, one grandparent. You can only love one best friend. You can only love one band, one car. Anytime you apply to anything else in existence, your mind can't even comprehend it. I only can love one kind of pizza. I only can love one of my kids, one car, one. Your mind can't even comprehend that concept nowhere else but in this. And most of the planet can't even comprehend this.
You know, I kind of agree with you because I feel like it's hard for us to admit it, but I feel like there's a lot of ego in getting jealous and questioning your partner and trying to control and like make sure they don't cheat on you. I feel like there's just so much ego in that, and the reason I say that is because I know a couple who they've been together now almost probably a year, and they both they connect well with each other. They spend a lot of time together. Like they see each other 7 days a week, and but you know they both have jobs, but they get into arguments every single week because it's either the dude is talking to some girls on Facebook and meeting up with them on the low when he leaves, or it's the girl who's meeting up with guys. And I try to mediate it sometimes because I'm like, y'all obviously both want the same thing, and y'all obviously get along together very, very well. And I kind of threw that out there for them. I'm like, why don't y'all just do this? Why don't y'all just be honest with each other and move from there? And then y'all can do what you both obviously are doing behind each other's back. And then it would just be so much more peaceful. And they're like, well, I don't want him doing it. Well, I don't want to know. And then I'm like, but y'all both doing it. But your ego is like not letting you let that go, I feel like.
You know what self-projection is?
No.
A lot of human communication is self-projection, is when we project ourselves, our issues, whatever about us onto somebody else, right? A lot of like American monogamous relationships is self-projection, like she was saying earlier, like, you know, insecurity of, you know, sex with this person.
Yeah, and I got some other things I want to add to that, but go ahead.
When one thing about like the poly community and what you go through to function healthy as poly, you become confident in you and you self-project less. Say me and Penelope were dating, right? And she came to me one day, she was like, oh, I just met this dude, man, we had this 3-hour conversation. And I could see like she's happy that she met this guy. My first thought would be, oh, like, what does he bring to the table for you? Like, I'm trying to figure out what it is that he's adding to her life, bringing to her, not what's not in me that she's seeing in somebody else. I'm confident in who I am and what I bring to the table. I'm confident that as a human being, I can bring about maybe 65% of the pie. But my ego ain't large enough to believe that I am 100% every desire and fantasy and support and love and everything that you're going to need for 40, 50, 60 years. My concern is how much is a healthy addition to her life is this guy that she met. You know what I'm saying? Also, being in those situations, my concern is how open is he? Like, does he have another partner that he's being open with? Or is he cheating? Or is he okay enough to be a healthy addition to the relationship? Or is he gonna come in with some trying to compete, some insecurity shit, and not really be able to handle it? It's never about me or the lack of me. I know me. Whoever the fuck else you fucking with ain't got shit to do with me because it's only one.
So what happens to the concepts of devotion?
Penis has nothing to do with devotion.
I didn't say
Vagina.
anything. I didn't say nothing about that.
The concept
I'm
of
talking about
devotion.
commitment.
These things don't exist if my penis goes somewhere else, right? Right?
Not in this picture that I have.
That's what I'm saying. It's about my penis and your vagina. If they go place somewhere else, commitment doesn't exist, devotion doesn't exist, loyalty doesn't exist. I could be loyal to you than a motherfucker. I could only be fucking you and never fucking be loyal to you. Loyalty, devotion, and commitment are not synonymous to a sexual partner.
No, all of it is supposed to be incorporated together.
I get what you're saying. I've been in other, like my ex-wife, she was bisexual. Her going on a date, having a girlfriend ain't had shit to do with me. It didn't have shit to do with how we ran our house, raised our kids, none of that shit.
And the other thing that I'm looking at has to do with discipline yourself.
Yeah, what is the word? I just said it like 5-6 times in this conversation. You know, when you don't do something.
Abstinence.
Yeah. It's suppressing.
Suppressing
desire.
it.
All
Yeah.
of that comes from I'm going to suppress my desire. In this suppression, this is supposed to prove something. Do you know how many men kept a whole nother family, took care of both families, loved both women, loved all the fucking kids, did that shit until the day they died?
No.
No lie. I've watched it. Because desire, lust, or even another person doesn't have shit to do with my commitment to me and you living our life together.
But do
The
you
fear of loss is what hits when my penis go over here. You feel like the penis,
there's
the body ain't
okay,
gonna come back.
this is what I feel where the transgression lies. It is saying to me that my value to you is no longer there. It's like a diamond who has lost its luster, a silver ring that is now tarnished, and I don't want to have nothing else to do with you anymore. That's what I've seen happen with polygamists or people who have more than one significant other. Or this one, it becomes abused because I like this one more. I still come home over here to you. We have these kids and all of this stuff, but we got all these problems too. And I can't figure these fucking problems out. So rather sit here and try to work through this because emotionally I just don't want to hear anything. I want to cut all this off. I'm gonna go over here and be with Honey Girl. She knew.
That has to do with the character of a man.
She knew.
Because let me tell you something. A man could only be fucking you and beat your ass every day. Him fucking another woman ain't gonna be the cause of him abusing you or talking to you crazy. A man who has that character flaw, whether he's faithful or not, that shit gonna come out. Under any type of stress. Financial stress, kid stress, being together too long, whatever it is. The character of a man is going to determine how he going to be in any fucking type of relationship he has. Period.
There's so many facets that keep coming up because of what I have seen players.
Now, are players?
Players.
That's why cheating and hiding.
Yeah,
That's morally incorrect from the gate.
But their gut is like you said earlier. They don't have a monogamous bone within them.
And they don't have the option to handle any of that ethically. In the black community, that whole player max shit has been a thing for us, right? There's not really avenues to where me and you can talk about maybe this issue that I'm having with my wife, and we both come up with how I can fix this and better be a partner to her. There ain't no avenue for me and my wife to discuss what me and you are gonna do for our anniversary. When you put a person, man or woman, in a position where lies and hiding happens, there's no open, healthy communication. The shit's gonna be foul from top to bottom.
Okay, that's
My
fair.
homegirl Michelle, her and her husband and her boyfriend been living in the same house together for over 20 years. And they all three got kids together. They have a matriarchal system. She's the head of the household. And I mean,
That's traditional.
These ain't no beta fucking dudes. These ain't no like soft dudes. And then I have a whole nother group of friends. It's two married couples and a woman. All five of them been in a relationship for 15 years. They done bought 20 acres in Napa. They got kids together. I can only really speak for what happens in the poly community, where we have roundtables, family check-in, and shit like that. I know that there is so much more talk and communication in poly relationships than in regular relationships, because it's just what our shit is based on. You know what I'm saying? It's just how we operate. Your
So,
boyfriend,
are
my
you-
girlfriend,
wait,
our
wait.
girlfriend, we're all sitting at this table. Who's got some issues? Who felt like they didn't get time?
So are
this
you
week?
saying are you saying that monogamous people are poor communicators?
When you look at all the monogamous relationships you've ever seen in your whole life, what is the percentage of people who family check-in once a week, open, honest, dead honest communication, therapy, working together? How many really have you seen like that?
I really can't say with them, but I know me as a person. That's the way I am as a person. I
You
check
individually
in
as a person.
with the family, and our family practice
But
that.
we're talking about a relationship concept, right? Monogamy. Out of all of the monogamous
Do I
relationships,
live on Mars somewhere? Am I weird? I must be a weird
again,
person.
if monogamy was based on real healthy communication, we still wouldn't have the divorce rate that we have. We only have it because obviously these fucking things are falling apart. People are lying, cheating. People are having all kind of issues that ain't getting worked out. We know this. Like, it is a fact that these things permeate the relationships. Insecurity. In monogamous relationships, insecurity is seen something that should be there.
That should.
That should be there. Like, it's cool. Well, I get jealous when you look at another woman. You shouldn't be looking at a woman going, you ain't.
Okay. Oh,
Jealousy ain't acceptable in school, work, anywhere else. But in monogamous relationships, your insecurity is allowed to be, your jealousy is allowed to be.
okay.
You can't do this because it makes me jealous, I feel insecure. You can't do this because it makes me jealous and I'm insecure. I know in arranged marriages, multiple partner marriages, poly communities, these things are not allowed, period. They're not okay. You can't be like, oh, when you do that, that makes me jealous, because the first thing anybody in this relationship is going to go, okay, well, this is something you need to work on. Why do you feel jealous? And that insecurity, you need to work on that, because it's not healthy. I know in all the poly relationships I've ever seen, all the multiple partner marriages that I've ever seen, communication, securing oneself is a fundamental. it's known without that it don't work. Monogamous relationships is more based on the magic of we fell in love and then we're gonna
Wow, that is so
feel
empty.
basic. No.
That is so fucking empty.
Every image that
I
we've
don't.
ever been
I
sold
didn't just
about
fall
love.
in love with somebody just because of the exterior.
I didn't say the exterior. I said what we've been sold about monogamy is you fall in love and there it goes. Every image we've ever looked at, every fucking song, every Disney movie, every movie, the picture that we're shown about falling in love is some magical chemistry happening. And it's all derived and it's all driven by our emotion and how we feel for each other. And more shit is dictated by my insecurity on how you move, who you deal with. I know, I can't even count how many monogamous people I know, they're not even okay with you having a friend of the opposite sex.
Oh my God, that's a sad. Okay, you
But
know
it
what? We
permeates.
you know what? We're supposed to be talking about why women get bored faster than men. I'm sorry, I derailed the whole train. I did. I'm sorry. So we can table
Bring that back.
this.
I'm gonna tie the two together. This is called a segue. I know when I'm on a date, right, and a woman begins to tell me certain things, in my mind, all I can hear is, that is the boringest fucking shit I ever heard. You really think you're telling me some positive shit to make me want to make a choice to be with you. All the things you don't do and all of this and that and what you okay with and what you ain't. I go, God damn, that sound like prison. For a multitude of men, the shit that women have been kind of conditioned to say as this makes me look like a good moral woman, to men we interpret that as, God damn, that's fucking boring. A lot of men go into a relationship, they gonna know they gonna have a side chick.
My God, there's so
I
many.
love you, but this shit
There's
is boring.
so many fucking mind games.
We're human beings.
They're mind games.
All mind games. It's all mental. It's all
Okay.
psychological.
All right. Okay.
And the sad thing is, most of us just float through this
Ooh,
shit
wow.
without really any understanding of why the fuck we do what
Wow.
we do.
Wow. So why do we get bored then with all this shit going on? Why do we get bored?
Same reason why you can't eat pizza every day. Your
Well, I
palate
just-
is gonna get tired.
No.
I feel like you was mentioning earlier how for you as a man the passion is gonna like depreciate over time. So wouldn't that kind of like bounce off of me too? Like
Yeah.
if you lose passion, I'ma feel that.
Absolutely.
And that kind of goes hand in hand then.
Absolutely.
And not only that, shit.
Men catch
I lost
headaches
it.
too. Oh, not tonight, babe. I got a fucking headache.
Wait a minute.
I'm tired.
Wait a minute. Men will not put in the effort to romance and fondle.
They get comfortable.
And you know, the woman play with her body like when we first got in the bed.
True.
Why?
Yeah, why do y'all get so comfortable?
Not y'all.
Why is
Why do
I
some
chased
men-
that
rag,
in the
so-
why is that in the behavior? Because see, that's what made the night paradise, motherfucker. Because you was touching me and not just sticking your dick in me, pumping 5, 6, 7 good hard times.
Man,
Go,
goes back to the conquer thing. Once I've reached the summit, I've reached the fucking summit.
so if we don't hold back on y'all,
That's a key.
if we don't hold back, yeah,
My greatest, personally, this is just personally, I don't know about other dudes. I know my greatest lack of satisfaction is how hard it is to get a fucking woman to just be you. I'll ask, what is your desire? What do you desire? You know, I'm into my partner, whatever. Do you know how tiring it gets hearing that fucking shit? Nothing gets you off. You ain't got no kind of kink. You ain't got no fucking fetish. There's nothing that you really fucking like. The most wildest shit a
Wow.
woman will say is, I like to give head, or I doggy style, that's as far as it go. That's as deep as your desire and fantasy go. Because women
Wow,
have
that
this
is
thing.
so boring.
A lot of women have this thing where they can't say certain things because
missionary.
of fear of being shamed about it. So this is like a ping pong thing. If this woman is afraid to say, I like face shots, it really turned me on when a man come on my face. If she's afraid to tell that to a dude, and she's like, well, I don't know that's what the fuck you like. I may catch an emotion that you have if I do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm 40 years old, man. It has been a rare occasion where a woman will be honest with me and tell me what the fuck her desires are.
This is the beauty in my head, what I'm looking at, and what you're discussing, or what you're saying, not disgusting, because it's not disgusting. But what you're describing as being a problem, in my head, that's where when you're both open and vulnerable with each other, and you share what the fuck is going on the inside. Babe, I need you to go get that pickle. I need you to go and do this, go whatever the fuck it is. You understand what I'm saying? Between each other. That's where the passion and stuff continues to flow, and you're feeding each other's ego. It's not just about you feeding me, because what you give me, goddamn it, I'm gonna give you. And that's where the appetite and the lust continues to grow between the two of them. Because let me say this. I knew a lady who told me, and they were Christian. She said, my husband is lusting at me. I just don't, that's just disgusting. And I was thinking, I thought about that, and I extracted the lust out of the relationship and looked at that and said, he ain't gonna want you no more. It's his lust for you that's driving y'all in the sheets. Why would you want your husband to stop lusting after you? That is healthy.
Imagine the man in that marriage. Imagine being the man in a marriage, because now I can say this in general terms for all fucking men. It is more common than not to have a fucking woman where like lust and desire and passion is seen just like she. Oh, that's nasty. Why you want to do that? Why you always? Every fucking sitcom we have on TV is some fucking dude chasing his wife for sex and she don't want it. Like, it is so pervasive in our culture. Like I was saying, even on the last podcast, we're taught sex is for us, love is for you. Because a lot of women don't even know when to stop the chase. A lot of women don't even know when to stop. Okay, you play hard to get, you play hard to get. We went through this courting ritual. Now we're in a relationship or we're married. They don't even know when to stop fucking running. They don't know when to stop and go, okay, now I'm in this with you. Now we do this together. I know motherfuckers in 10, 15-year marriages to where they still got to try to talk their fucking wife into having sex or taking a vacation or buying some lingerie. There's a fucking woman that's still in her mind, I need to hold this tight. Really? This is why you see in a lot of cultures to where it is the fucking mistress, it is the gay shit, it is the side woman to where, fuck it, your mom, we do this plain shit, and then you get to be puritanical, and then I go do this kinky shit with her, and then I come home.
Wow.
Because another thing we can do too
Compromise.
is, if you keep rejecting me and if you keep acting like sex is nasty and sex is bad and these little kinky things I want you to do are some fucking deviant type thing, then I'm just gonna have mommy daddy sex with you and I'm doing all the kinky shit with her, and then I'm gonna keep the family together. Men are good at doing that. Because when you look at every evangelical Puritan, don't want to be a slut, don't want to be a whole woman mind frame, it is a fucking obstacle course that men have to climb. And for most of us, we were taught early, who you marry ain't who you get your rocks off with. And that comes from, well, grandpa, yeah, he married the lady from the church. They had sex with their pajamas on, and they had that family sex, and then he went down to the juke joint and he had real fucking. That mother, wife, shit. You know how many women still hold on to that? And that's the thing when it comes down to these type of situations on when you're trying to figure out why behavior is happening. A lot of it, you have to step outside of yourself and go, why is this person doing that? And why is this person acting like that? Because if you go, well, I'm this, you'll never understand why they're there. It's just like a fucking serial killer. I'm not a serial killer, but I can step in their mind and go, oh, this is what happened to you at this age, and this is what prompted this need, and this is what led to this. And I can intellectually understand how you went from this to this. I can't never do that shit. I can look at a woman and I can intellectualize and understand why her behavior went a certain way. I can't never be that. I'm not a woman. When I look at people, all my years as a counselor and a therapist, it takes so much to step outside myself to look at somebody else and to figure out why is your behavior this way. Not just you. What environment are you in? How are you raised? What is your core values? What are your core beliefs? What is your core image of yourself? All of these things play a part in the why you smoke crack, or why you hit women, or why you won't see your fucking kids and be a father, or any of these things, right? Even when I was growing up and looking at relationships, like I've said on this podcast before, I remember the first time I really realized what monogamy was. When I was in high school, I introduced my girlfriend to my new girlfriend, and my old girlfriend threw a fucking hot thing of mustard tater tots in my goddamn face, and we end up in the principal's office. I'm completely don't understand why she's tripping. And then the principal has his damn, and he's talked to her, and he's talked to her, and he brings me in, and he brings us all in, and he's like, what you did is ill reprehensible, and and then he hits me with that, it's a boy and it's a girl, and da 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 da. And I remember my first thought, like, wait a minute, one boy, one girl. Why would I do that? I couldn't even comprehend. Why would I do that? And then going home, I said, yo, I got suspended and da 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 da. And I explained to him what happened, and then he explained to me, okay, well, son, we should have had this talk a long time ago. And then he explained to me really what monogamy was, how pervasive it was, and it took so long to understand why people would do that. Early on, I couldn't understand just her. Like, people really get married to one person forever? Like, I couldn't even comprehend that shit. Even now, I ask a woman, do you think you're that great you can hold all my attention, all my lust, all my desire, all my love, everything, just you, till we die? You really think you that fucking dope? I'm a hell of a motherfucker. I don't even think I'm that goddamn dope. Because there's just shit you into I ain't into. But he into that, or she's into that. I don't have to even strive to be every fucking thing to you, but who I am. The support and love I can bring. I watch so many people have relationships and demand shit of people that ain't even fucking in them. This is a need you have, you demanding this person that you in love with that don't have it. They not into what the fuck you into. They don't like the music you like.
I don't see the demand. I see devotion. I see the growing together. I see the adaptability. I see where you come to hurdles and you work together on trying to work them out. I see that's where lines of communication real, if you know, real investigation, what's going on with you, honesty, absolute transparency, all of that. That those are the components that I see when life comes at you that way. Where there's it doesn't matter which spouse that it is. Um, I the other part when I was talking about competition, perhaps that's only a component. I know that's a component that is uh, I mm, I have to think before I say that, because in nature, when you and it's mating seasons, you do have males that compete for the mating rights with the female. Okay, and she, after she picks out or whatever. But I was looking at the competition that exists, because even though I'm saying it that it just exists between women, it also exists between the brothers too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that is there. But for the things that you were saying, I didn't see how I'm saying that I'm so bad that, because I don't think like that. I know that I'm not the only beautiful woman on the planet. I know that there are hundreds of thousands of women that are so attractive that it'll make me want to go sit over here in the corner. You know, so I expect that. And just because we married, don't mean that you're dead. Doesn't mean that you're dead. Just like if you have a favorite shoe or a favorite ice cream that you love at the top, overall, that is just my favorite. That's how I'm looking at it. Not like I'm so captivating that I demand that you look at me all the time. I'm not saying it in that light, because that is so narcissistic. That's narcissistic. That's just, it's all about me and what I have going on. You decided that when you came to me, when you saw me, and you decided, I don't want to meet with nobody else. When you say those words yourself, because that does come out when you find that one. At least that has happened to me
Well,
before.
we're taught to say that. Most men don't want to actually say that. That
Okay.
I just want to be with you for the rest of my life. We know to have you, we have to say that. We know primarily if I go, I would really like for you to be my second wife. I'm not getting you at all. If put it like this, I have monogamous relationships and I have poly relationships, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a monogamous relationship right now. Part of one of the things I have to say is this may not be forever. At some point I may want another partner, but I will tell you. Before I do anything, I'll have a discussion with you so you can make the choice on what you want to do.
So
Even
why,
the notion
why do you
of
even
that.
marry? Why do you even marry?
We like the same women. Just fucking with you. No, I mean I loved her beyond any other woman. That had nothing to do with my dick and what I was attracted to. That didn't have anything to do with when I wanted to play or when she wanted to play.
So why, again?
Because they're not exclusive.
Why do you marry? Why do you
Because
even have
sex
to
is not
marry?
exclusive to love for everybody. For a lot of people on this planet, sex and love aren't so intertwined that they can't be separated. And love is not such a singular thing for a lot of people. You live in one of the most polysaturated cities in America. Why this isn't more around you, I don't know if you just don't see it, but the fact is, so many people are aware that love is on such a spectrum. So many people are aware to where I can love who I want and how I want, and we no longer live under a system that will punish me for that. So now I can do that.
Hmm.
You know,
Okay.
when it comes to trying to roll every love, desire, passion, lust, all of these things, you try to roll them all up into one blunt, smoke. But this is a full course meal. Emotions are so vast and wide. How people love, how people commune, how people connect. And to me, I watch people just go in and out of relationships. At some point, the shit just ain't sufficient enough. You can't pull all of this out of this person. They didn't fell off. They didn't lost desire, whatever. And the shit ends. And then they'll repeat it over again. And then repeat it over again. Never. That's insanity. You just keep repeating the same shit, expecting different results. That comes from a concept. For me, I feel like if you've had 20 relationships and you still trying to have the same form of relationships, does that say something about the people you were in relationships with or you? That at no point there was a
It's
thought
both.
of
It's
this may
always
not be
both.
working.
It's both. It's
No.
not just.
But this is the thing. Out of all your relationships, you're the common denominator.
Yeah.
Those people were who they were when you got with them. Because I hear women be like, oh, niggas ain't shit, niggas is dogs. Wait a minute. You've been with 25 people and you don't think that has something to do with who you attracted to? Because all men ain't like these 25 that you was with, but all 25 of them dudes is really fucking similar. They're a fucking type. At no point are you gonna question why you keep going for these motherfuckers? Or these relationships keep ending that at one point are you gonna ask yourself, maybe this relationship choice ain't working? That's where I get kind of fucked up in my head. Why there are people who ask that question and go, oh shit, there's a different way to have relationships. There's different things I can do. There are different things I can pull in. Oh shit, there's extra happiness in this. And then they step over here, and then these people just keep repeating and repeating. Look at these people like, I don't understand how you do that. Nigga, I don't understand how you keep going through this shit. There's no question on maybe you're not right. If you try to run through this goddamn wall 20 times and just bust your head 20 times, at some point you gotta go, maybe I can't run through this fucking wall. That's where my conflict comes from. We live in a country where this concept, we didn't fucking create it. It was given to us and we were raised in it. And some people spend their whole fucking life rotating in it, never once going, maybe this shit ain't working. 4 or 5 marriages, maybe this shit just, this same shit keep happening. You ask most people, their relationships end on the same reason. It ain't a multitude of reasons why each, like, oh, this relationship was that, and it was all different. No, it's usually the same shit. But as human beings, we rarely go, maybe it's me. Maybe it ain't these dog ass motherfuckers who fuck me over, lie, and cheat on me. Maybe I'm attracted to that type of fucking person. I knew one thing early. Oh, my grandmother was shitbag crazy. My grandfather liked crazy women. Crazy fucking woman. Oh shit, my mama was batshit fucking crazy. Daddy liked crazy women. Oh shit, damn it, every woman I fuck with is off her rocker. Why? Because I'm attracted to crazy ass fucking women. Ooh, what is crazy about these women that keeps attracting me? I spent like 5 years in therapy trying to pick this shit apart. Why do I keep ending up with fucking women who like, sugar in my tank, break my windows, no emotional restraint whatsoever. Oh, they're highly passionate, they're never boring, and it's always different, and I'm attracted to that. But that is usually coupled with mental instability. Ooh, now I can come up with a solution to keep me out of that shit. Let me find some boring ass qualities to like. Let me start looking at women differently and looking at some of these like stable qualities, these not so fucking all over the place qualities. Let me start finding some common denominators to like those things. Ooh, and when I did that, the type of woman I was attracted to changed. To actually look at my sisters, prime example. Nah, them niggas ain't shit. You just like ain't shit. Because all them motherfuckers was the same. You just dated the same dude 15 times. And that shit ain't dawn on you? He was a piece of shit when you met him. He had a bitch and 3 kids he wasn't even taking care of. But for some reason, something in that fed something in you, and you thought it was going to be different. And you repeated that shit over and over again.
And how does this connect with what we're talking about? I got lost.
Bored, sex, passion, all of these things. It's a fucking web. All of these things intersect.
I know
Because at the
that.
point of like, ooh, I do not want to be in this vagina anymore. I still love you. But you've sucked my dick 5 different ways for the last 20 years, and
I'm finished. I'm finished. I'm bored.
I need something else for me.
That's saying I'm bored. Bye.
No.
See you later. Bye.
You see what you're saying? That's that end time clock. For a man, is I need to play somewhere else for a minute.
That's
For
see you later.
it's
Bye.
no, because you stop desiring me right now. It's completely over forever. You rejected me this time. It's over. That is the end of monogamy, and every man knows that. I can't tell my woman right now I'm not attracted to her, because in her mind we are fucking done. My desire and lust for somebody for a minute, a night, or just somebody else I can kick it with is in her fucking mind a total rejection of her. Like you just said it a couple times. Like any of those things means a total, absolute rejection of you in the end.
Did you
But
hear
it
what you
doesn't.
said before? You said, okay, I can't tell my woman that I'm attracted to her.
And I'm just
Right.
tired of this for her. Right
And
now I'm
you're-
tired of this. Because if your man fuck you the same way for 20 years, you're not gonna be like, oh no, it's as good as it was the first time you put it in. You're gonna be like, oh, don't touch me. Like,
That
fuck?
is there is so much dishonesty in that. So much dishonesty.
Because
in
there's
that.
no negotiation. There's
Oh
no
my
compromise.
God, that's sad.
Outside of me
That's
and
not
you.
a relationship. That's not a
Why do you
relationship.
think they end? Why do you think they end? Because me and you in a monogamous relationship, there is no compromise or negotiation. Once we've run our course, once we've hit boredom, we're deteriorating and it's over because there's no negotiation anywhere else.
I'm from a completely different planet.
What is the negotiation? What's the negotiation? What's the compromise? Once we're both kind of bored of each other, what is the negotiation that's going to keep us together?
You incorporate something new
Something
that both
what
of
we
you
done
want to
it all.
do.
I fucked you every which way. Do
No.
all the things.
There is
used every
no
move.
way on the planet that you have done everything that you can possibly create.
It happens.
Wow. Wow. Okay. I think I'm very
And most
naive
people
in this
don't
area.
even stay in a
or something.
relationship long enough to hit that point. That time of 40, 50-year relationships, that's a rarity now.
Okay. Okay.
I can't even think of anybody I know who's in a 50-year relationship right now.
Okay.
10, 20?
Okay.
Boredom is boredom. And without the ability to negotiate through that, it comes to an end. And so many more people are more strict than you. My brother, I was going to say his name. My brother, his fucking wife hit him in his sleep with a fucking pot. Like a big pot.
Oh my God.
Because to her, I shit you not, him dreaming about another woman was cheating.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
As communicative as you are, you got to think of how many people are more strict than
Oh
you.
my God.
You got people, you can't follow no fucking dude on Instagram. You got people, you can't like no woman's, why are you liking her picture? All of these little,
Oh my God.
that pop up everywhere.
Okay.
Why are you her friend? Why are you his friend?
Oh my God.
you had coffee.
Okay. Woo, that's a Frankenstein. That's
Yeah.
a real Frankenstein.
But when you actually
Okay.
look at all of these relationships, right, and you look at her over there, she, her husband can't have any female friend, can't follow any female on Instagram, Facebook, cannot be alone with any woman. To her, that's just out of bounds. You look at this dude over here, nigga, you can't have no male friends. What the fuck you doing?
That is so.
People have strict lines.
That's prison.
To keep that
That's prison.
monogamy going.
That is prison. That's prison.
My girlfriend was like, "Why are you following these? Because I like pussy." And she kind of looked at me kind of crazy. I'm like, I have a regular Instagram, and then I have an Instagram. It says specifically for my thirst, and I just follow chicks. Well, why are you doing that? Because they look good. See, that's the fucking truth. And then she didn't really know how to fucking react to what just came out of my mouth. People have strict rules on how they govern monogamous relationships because the fear of losing your partner, the fear of we put in 10 years, we put in 20 years, and I don't want to lose you, I don't want to lose this investment, shit gets tight. Boundaries,
That's when you're supposed to break boundaries.
can't do it because then the relationship over. If I break these boundaries,
No.
you know what? That's my friend and I'm going to go to coffee with her. Do I really want to come home and have that fucking argument? Because she looked
Okay.
better than you or whatever and it fucked with some insecurity.
Okay.
When you look at all these relationships, I tell people, you really need to know you, what truly fills you. If anything bumps off of jealousy or anything bumps off an insecurity, you can't count that. If you go, I love this man because whatever, but all of that does is reinforce an insecurity, that's glass at best. When people really look at what is my relationship based on, how do we flow, all of these things play a part in that bedroom. Like T said, well, if I get bored, she gonna feel like she gonna get bored. It's two people in this, and as things fall off, and for me, it's not really hard to end a monogamous relationship. I pretty much go in every one of them knowing it's temporary. Because when I come to you and I say whatever, I know this is over. I enjoyed my time. I enjoyed whatever love we shared. Whatever you put into me, whatever I put into you, and I'll let you go try to repeat this with somebody else. There's no negotiation. There's no whatever. The stricter your relationship is with no negotiations and compromise, shorter your clock.
And you don't think a monogamous relationship can.
Like I said, I don't think it's impossible,
That's okay. That's
but I
not
believe
what
it's
I.
rare. It's not impossible,
Okay.
but I believe it's rare. Because what I believe is usually a non-monogamous person and a monogamous person usually end up in a relationship together.
And a lot of guys tend to be, they want an open marriage for their benefit. But when it comes down to the woman doing that, then they have reservations about it. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. I've seen it too many times over and
If you
over.
tell me,
Because they'll tell the woman, that's when they'll start shaming her and calling her slut or
Saying it's
saying little
different.
shit,
Because you
asking
tell us it's
loaded
different.
questions.
if you
No,
look at the
no,
shit
no,
to
no,
say,
no,
well, I looked at this
no,
shit,
no.
I
You don't
couldn't
get to do that. You don't get to do
but
that.
if you keep telling me
You don't get to do
that
that.
this is wrong and this is this, that's how I believe you look at it.
But just because I can have like an emotionally invested like sex with someone doesn't mean that I can not go and fuck somebody and
Hear what I'm saying? If I'm telling a person I can have emotional sex and I can have no string sex, and then this other person is like, no string sex doesn't exist. It's emotional for me. If you keep telling me that, that's what I believe you believe. So when you say you want to fuck somebody else, you're saying it different because you didn't told me this whole time there's no such thing as no string sex for you. But when we come together and you're telling me, oh yeah, I believe it can be emotional or no strings, and I'm like, I believe it can be emotional, no strings, and this is a belief we both have. I don't tell you, oh, that's different. When you keep telling me you believe love and sex is this way, and then you tell me you want sex with somebody else, what are you telling me?
That you found somebody else that you want to have sex with.
You guys were saying it's men will shame a woman and say it's different and all of that.
Yes, they do.
What I'm saying is as a woman, if you like you believe sex and commitment and relationships are a certain way. So if you keep telling me that and we're together and I know that's what you believe, when you deviate from that, I'm like, that's different. Nigga, you don't even believe that. You ain't never once told me you believed that was a possibility. That's really what it is. And so little words when the dude's like, nah, man, it's different. What he really wants to say is you ain't never once even gave me a glimmer that you believed that was a possibility. So now that you want to go over there, you're telling me that shit ain't no strings. You telling me you got real feelings and he's an option for you. Because you can't tell me I believe in this, I believe in this, and then step
Yes,
over
you
here.
can. Yes, you can.
You can?
Yes, you can.
It don't work?
Because if you expose a monogamous person to polygamy in its environment, either she's going to adapt or she's going to keep going the way she wants to go. If she begins to adapt, that means her idea that she expressed at the beginning has morphed due to your influence.
But you got
So if it comes, you should be able to visualize and see that.
Assume. I'm supposed
Not
to
assume.
that
I
you
did
changed.
not. No. I didn't say assume. You have two persons living in the same environment, and each of you are watching each other. If you become so distracted to where you can't see that this one over here is morphing into something else, you are completely, you're not even conscious of what's happening in your own environment. You can introduce something into a person that wasn't there at one time.
Yeah,
but if
you
if they continue to swim in your pond, they're going to incorporate the properties that are there in that water.
People see that. People see that. When things change over time, people see that. What I'm talking about, the majority of people, because it's just not exclusive to men, right?
No.
You have, because not all men are okay with a woman liking a woman. They not.
I know.
My ex-wife figuring that shit out right now. She ain't got a fucking option. He can put hands on her and all that shit, finding out the littlest of her, because she thought every dude was open like me. Like that shit just was gonna translate. No. Yo, just as many women who ain't okay with that shit, it's just as many men ain't okay with that shit. When you watch somebody kind of transform, that's one thing. But what happens a lot is, I have this belief and I stand on it. And then one day I go left. Right? When you see a dude get caught up, that's usually when shit come out. Right? I catch him cheating. Out of his mouth come what? The most stereotypical, it was just sex. I don't mean nothing. And usually the next shit is, well, what if I did that? Well, nigga, you don't even believe that. Because the whole time, the whole 6 years we've been together, you told me sex was only emotional. And what you're not trying to see right now.
But what have you been saying?
What
then
she's
that whole
saying,
time? If
What-
you're cheating, then
Most
how does
guys
she
or
know?
me?
Was she
Because
is
most guys just mirror the same shit, right? Most guys will get into a situation
God
and they
damn
say the
it.
same shit that a woman says because you're kind of conditioned to know this is how I get to stay in.
So
this.
then, how can you get upset at her for saying that then? If
Okay.
you are just kind of copying whatever the fuck she thinks you should say.
So you know how what she feels. She tells you all the time what she believes. And then when you're in a situation, she says, well, what if I did that? Well, nigga, you don't believe what I believe. In a man's mind, in that moment, he know, you don't believe what the fuck I believe. I can cut her off like that. I don't even know her fucking last name. But the whole time we've been together, you've put sex and love here. So when you go, well, what if I did it? Really?
really?
Now, when you look at somebody like me, I don't give a fuck you got another dude. That shit ain't got nothing to do with me. But very few people are conditioned that way. What I'm doing right now is I'm looking at the multitude of relationships and how they collapse and the positions that people take. When you watch a guy get caught cheating, or matter of fact, if you watch a woman get caught cheating, which usually the shit that is her argument for why she did it. There's 3 women sitting at this table.
Because she wanted to do it. That's why.
That's the most common reason that a woman will say when she get caught cheating by her husband or her boyfriend, because I wanted to. That's not the most common thing that come out their mouth. 3 women here. Out of every white, black, rich, poor woman who gets caught cheating, what usually is the reason that she verbalizes to her partner? Oh, why she did it. Because you can give me 5 reasons out of a man's mouth that you've heard on why he cheated. Can you give me one that you've heard a woman say why she cheated?
I mean,
No woman has ever expressed to any of you why they cheated?
well, I'm just trying to think of myself.
I know why. Because that motherfucker was fine. That's why. Or revenge.
Or
No, I'm talking about something a woman has actually said that you've heard.
I'm trying to think
I
of one.
know that.
okay.
You said yours. I've heard that.
Okay.
Revenge, you fucked her, so I fucked him, or you wasn't paying me no attention. I felt lonely. As a man, I've heard the reasons why women say they cheat. I'm asking 3 women, what have you heard from other women why they cheat?
Same thing.
I think I've heard like it just wasn't that serious at the time. We was just starting out.
I mean, I've heard girls say like it was just sex. Like, I've heard that from girls. Like,
Now, how many women who cheated, it was just sex? He was just fine. That's the position they take
That's
in
just
relationships. Hold on. How many of those, that's the position that they take in relationships? When they're in conversations with their man or their partner, they express to their partner that these are their beliefs.
Bless you.
Because see, what we believe in our mind, what we believe on the inside, not 100% of that shit comes out. Because safety, conditioning, culture, whatever. What human beings believe in, and for me, all the shit come out of my mouth, I believe it 100%, and I watch how people around me react to the shit that come out of my mouth. From childhood to now, I've watched people critique their words, filter themselves, go through. You can see it in their eyes as they're trying to filter through the shit in their head for it to come out their mouth. The same shit happens in relationships.
That's called hiding.
Yeah. It's usually how human beings are able to manage to stick together. One of the biggest tropes we always see is, baby, how do I look in this? Oh, baby, you look pretty. Every once in a while, you'll get a man who'll be like, yeah, that shit's ugly as a motherfucker. You take makeup. There ain't a man on this planet that give a fuck about any goddamn makeup a woman wears. Women don't wear makeup for us. They wear it for themselves and for other fucking women. We could give a shit less.
But there are some men who like trophy wives.
You're a possession. We don't love you. You're not for us. You're for everybody else. That's what the fuck a trophy is. I want it, but it's for everybody else to see.
Let me ask you this, okay? What is it that you like about women? What draws you to a woman, and why?
I think one of the strongest attractors for me is, I think tenderness, right?
I mean, if you're walking down walking down the street, and you see this woman, and it's her tenderness and her appearance.
You mean physically, like sexually?
When you
attracted?
see a woman, what makes you say, "Ah, damn"?
See, I'm different. That's not a good, you know what I'm saying? Because I can see a woman fine in a motherfucker, chopped from head to toe. And in my mind, it's like, I don't want none of that. I'm very adamant against any woman that can remove my ability
I'm just
to cut
saying,
her off.
what?
And then too, it depends. If I'm with an African American woman, I like a light skinned woman. If I'm with a Latin woman, she got to be dark than a motherfucker. If I'm with a white chick, you better be white, white. Don't act black, don't talk black. Be from Salt Lake, Utah. You know what I'm saying? White, black. You know what I'm saying? Like, it varies from woman. It varies racially, and then it varies age-wise. Because a woman over 30, like an African American woman over 30, the more browner or darker she is, the more I'm attracted to her.
Okay.
So my attraction is very,
Very.
Specific.
and then what actually attracts me to I want her usually don't have nothing to do with how she looked. Because like I said, my upbringing when it comes to like sex and shit like that is very whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I'm very much more of an emotional, psychological dude.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to like some woman I want, what I see in your eyes is very, very important.
Okay.
I know that's
So
some
you
weirdo
know, so
shit,
you look
but
inside a person's soul, and
I
that's
guess you'll
where
say
you
that.
get your attraction.
Yeah. And then too, you know.
Now,
it's
how
like,
many men do you know operate on that plane?
Only when they looking for a wife.
Shocking.
Because then again, too, that's a very decompartmentalized thing for us.
Then why do we have all these horny motherfuckers run around here?
Check this out. I will say
Every
this,
song you hear on a record
Hold
is
on.
about a stripper.
but that's all bravado. That's imagery. I'm gonna tell you this. I actively try to create monogamy in men. And let me tell you how I do this. One of the things that can create monogamy in a man, you cut his balls off. I know when I got my vasectomy, my lust
my God.
for women changed drastically. Like when I was overbreeding, like when I was truly like, okay, I got 4 sons, I'm done, this is it. Went in, got my vasectomy. My pull and desire for women wasn't the same. I tell dudes all the time, man, you got 6 kids, you need to get vasectomy, man. You need to get that shit cut. Because what comes along with that, once you have it, your drive to breathe is cut.
And you know that is y'all's. That's y'all shit. That's y'all busting that nut. That is y'all shit.
The nut don't stop. See, that's
I ain't
that's
giving
misinformation.
that up.
Hold on, cause it took my
Come
cousin
on.
to tell me, yo, don't nothing change out. The load that come out, that's not. For a lot of men, they think once you get a vasectomy, nothing comes out. Only 1% of what
think
comes out
that.
is even living sperm.
Okay.
Once you know, oh wait a minute, it feels the same, I can bust the same. Men are a little more open to it. You know what I'm saying?
No, but you said after you had your vasectomy, your libido suffered.
Not my libido, because when I'm with my, I'll fuck all night, fuck every day. My desire to breathe, fuck her, fuck her, fuck her, fuck her. That animalistic lust was cut.
Get your men snipped, ladies.
You know what I'm saying? It was cut.
Yeah.
What
No,
the
I
only
get-
solution?
Because if you looked at my numbers like a graph, it's like this from the first
Bring up the
time until
graph.
my vasectomy, and then it went.
You got all these stats.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
the urge to breed for men, like women have a clock. You get to a certain age, you don't have no kids. It's this urge to have kids. I don't think women realize men have a fucking biological urge to breed.
I know why.
Once
I'm.
you cut that, I can
I-
sit
I
down
like-
for a while.
We don't. You know, men tend to make women feel like we're toys. Like something I can play for a little while, get you a little dirty up, and I'm through with you, and go off somewhere else. That's a part of also saying that. I think that's another facet of monogamy. Because y'all will throw us away and be done like you'll discard us.
It happens.
Yeah, I know. That's why Grandpa got the family over there, because he discarded this woman. When life becomes too complicated, it's too messy now.
I know a few
You're
men
expecting
like
me
that,
to do more than what I can do.
but that's a
But
special breed.
you helped created this. Life is life. You got to take life at life's terms. And sometimes you guys would just fuck you and them kids. See you later, bye. And you are gone. You're off somewhere. And she's over here with all these hollering kids while you out doing, having your polygamy all over the place.
You don't
leaving
think
on
that's
the
a
road.
character issue?
I
Or
don't
you
know.
think that's a male issue?
I think that's a male issue.
Because that's definitely a character issue.
Okay.
There's not a kid I didn't have that I could ever walk away from. Period.
Okay.
And the reason why I say monogamy can exist, my brother Emmett, who I used to do the show with, this motherfucker could not cheat to save his life. It just was not in him at all. I used to be like, man, why the fuck is you still with her? Yo, man, let me hook you up. She ain't getting you no pussy for like 2, man, just look. You can come with me to this party. I'm gonna hook you up, and then you can go home and deal with
So
that
really
shit.
you
He
really don't
just did.
respect monogamy. You really don't respect it.
So that one relationship
Right.
you just took, I don't respect it. He was in a very bad fucking relationship. And him, my homeboy
But that's
Will.
what monogamy
Hold on.
is about.
Wait a minute. My homeboy Will, him and his wife love each other. I would never dare try to get him to step out. I would never dare put that influence on him.
Okay.
But this, yo, it's time to go. You're dying, bruh. This shit is horrible. You've been unhappy for over 8 years. But you've been taking care of all fucking 5 of her kids that ain't yours since they were little. And now you feel like you can't leave these fucking kids and you stuck. These motherfuckers happy with the motherfucker. My homeboy Will, his wife, their one daughter. It's not, I don't respect monogamy. It's, I don't respect shit that don't work. If you can make monogamy work, much respect. If you in some shit and you just trying to make this work because this is all the fuck you know and you can't look nowhere else.
What do you mean
I
by
don't
trying to
respect
make it work?
it. Because a lot of people, they don't know anything else. They don't even know any other concept but this. And they just constantly try to make that work. And it's like, maybe you need to stop having relationships altogether and look at other ways to have a relationship. Some people, it's all the fuck they know. They don't know that it is any other way to have a relationship other than monogamy.
It is absolutely ridiculous to think whether you're a polygamist or someone who monogamist, if that's a word, that life is going to continue to be full of rosebuds and everything is psychedelically wonderful all the time. That's what monogamy is about, you riding life out through the ugliness and the bliss.
Me personally,
Not just being with somebody when the weather is nice and sunny. Now, okay, here comes some turbulence. See you later. I got to go. That is the
why is
I'm
that
through
wrong?
with you.
Hold on, why is that
That's
wrong?
I'm through with you.
If
Because
you don't make
that's
me happy
not
no
life.
more, why I can't leave?
That's not life. That's
That
not
ain't
life.
prison. I don't want to be here, but for some reason I can't fucking leave.
You want to see?
That's that concept. Me and you, and we're stuck
no,
together.
it's not. No, it's not.
Why I can't leave?
You can leave. That's why
Okay.
people get divorced.
Exactly.
But that's yours. Okay. What I'm
saying-
hearing and no, please let me get this out because I want to make sure that I understand you clearly. I'm expressing to you reasons why you stay together
Yeah.
in monogamy.
yeah.
You're expressing it as if that is like a negative thing to do when the problems start to crop up. This is life.
Sometimes.
This is life. Life is not going to be wonderful all the time. You're not a wonderful person all the time.
I know that.
Every human being on this planet is good and evil all
I'm
together
saying
in
is,
one time. So
why
when
can't
that
a person
surface,
leave?
why would you leave?
Maybe I don't want to be there no more.
Obviously, you don't want to be
And why
there
can't I
anymore.
leave?
You can,
Okay.
but
Why
you're,
ain't that just a
you're-
valid option to stay?
Why is it a valid option
Why
to
is
stay?
it not just a valid option as staying? Why?
Because
as
it's
whenever something-
convenient. You're doing what's convenient for you.
So
What is a relationship? About your dominance or us relating together?
it's got nothing to do with dominance.
Yes, it is.
It's got to do with you just saying bad things happen, so the principles of monogamy is you stay through the bad things. That's why the fuck women stay and they stay in that bathroom because they didn't got their ass beat and they don't fucking
No.
leave because no, hold on.
That's
bad
different.
times incorporate. She's now an alcoholic. He's now a fucking crackhead. He's now fucking molesting the kids. He's now beating. All of these things are bad times. That concept of monogamy and we gotta stay together keeps people from leaving unhealthy situations. Why not is leaving just as valid as staying? Getting bored in the bed is not the same thing.
Polygamy-
as some shit really going bad.
Polygamy, from what I'm understanding, polygamy is multiple relationships all at the same time.
Polygamy is one man, multiple women. Polygyny is one woman, multiple men. Polyamory is multiple people of different genders in the same relationship. So there are more than
So which
10
one?
different forms.
What are we talking about in this example? What we're practicing?
I just been talking about polyamory. Polygamy is like Mormons, Muslims, one husband, multiple wives. That's polygamy.
Okay.
A lot of
And-
African tribes is polygyny.
Which-
One woman, multiple husbands. She's the
It's what's good for the goose is good for the gander. It's equal.
Yeah, I didn't say it wasn't.
Okay.
I'm just saying what the definitions of the term
Okay.
are.
Okay.
Polyamory is just multiple people. It's not defined by.
And that's
who's
what
the
you're
head.
talking about, right?
I'm talking about all
All forms of it.
of it.
Okay.
Because
So, okay, why is it a terrible thing and something that is completely unnatural
What's unnatural?
Oh my God. For human beings to be monogamous. That's
I've
that's what
never
I'm
said it
hearing.
was.
Okay, then what
Like I
what
said,
is this?
I
I'm
don't
lost.
not respect monogamy. Like I said, I don't think monogamy is impossible. None of that. I'm saying it's not the only valid form of
Okay.
relationship.
Okay.
And one of the main things I
I
say
know
is,
that.
especially when you look at regionally, there are people in America who don't even know that there's other ways to have relationships. And when they hear other relationship structures, it is an immediate what? It's just like you go to India. The concept of, oh, I met this person, we fell in love, got married, is foreign to them.
Well,
I
it's not
don't
their
believe that there
culture.
is one valid form of relationship over any other. I believe people should have the ability to choose what works for them. A lot of people are not choosing what works for them. They are living out what has been given to them
Because,
and all they
of
know.
course, and that's what they're doing in other cultures. They do as their customs is according to that culture and that
Yeah.
geographical practice.
So like,
It's the same thing happening
yeah.
here.
So like when you talk about the concepts that keeps monogamy together and why it should be together and all of that, the other side of that coin is why people stay in very fucking destructive, toxic, poison, unhealthy. That same concept that keeps you and your husband together through a short time of unemployment. That's a bad time. The same concept that keeps you guys together over one of the kids kind of tripping out when they're teenagers. That's a bad time. That same concept is what keeps that woman there who's getting beat. It's what keeps that man there when this happens, when these serious unhealthy things happen. It keeps them there. I went through that personally. There was so many fucking times I should have left. I didn't want to break up my family. I didn't want to break my vow to my wife. I literally sat on my couch in my home and told myself, fuck it, I'm just gonna be unhappy. Literally those words out my mouth. Fuck it, this is just what it's gonna be. Like I consciously made that choice to accept unhappiness to keep my family together. And I'm not even a fucking monogamous person. Like that's not my only form of having a relationship. But I respected the institution of marriage. Regardless of how many partners I have, I wasn't gonna be the one to break this. I wasn't gonna be the one to quit. I wasn't gonna be the one to separate my family. Even those concepts will keep your ass in some destructive, unhealthy shit. That's why I'm saying, why ain't it valid to leave? To say somebody, because we committed to one another, we have to stay and work through it, ain't always a good thing.
I
It may
agree.
seem like
I completely agree with that. I completely agree with that because, and I'm saying that because I'm a divorcee and getting ready to be twice divorcee. You understand what I'm saying? So there are times, I'm not saying life happens in between when you first said I do to the time like I have to leave. I have to leave. Okay? He may have been a high school football player and now he's down here and life has been so cruel that now he's a serial killer. I'm telling you to stay your ass there. I'm not telling you to stay there. But if life progresses through the hard stuff and you're still able to ride through together and nobody is trying to stab each other or cut each other in the middle of the night. You understand what I'm saying? Because your passion can last that long. I have seen older couples who actually, one laid down, the other one's like, it just ain't right with her being here. And they died weeks or days afterwards. So it does exist. It's not always negative. And it's not always, I could see the good and the validity in both of them.
I try not to cast judgment on why somebody leaves some shit because what people can deal with is different and how strong
Yeah,
people
from
are
one
is different.
individual to another.
Because what I've dealt with in a bad relationship, the next person probably couldn't deal with. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So why people choose to leave, I don't judge that. You know what I mean? Like I know women who've carried their man through years of unemployment, but I know some women they couldn't do that for 30 days, and I don't go, oh well,
Everybody's
no, like,
everybody's
this is
their
what you
own
can take and this is what
individual.
you can't,
Yeah.
right? When relationships hit a rocky patch, how detrimental that is to that person is from their perspective. Because what is a minor bad time for somebody could be a fucking disaster for somebody else. You know what I'm saying?
We as human beings, we are
And women
we
need
we
too.
need connectivity.
Yeah, we're
We
social.
we have to have connectivity, and we're tethered to someone, some kind of way. That's how we thrive on life. If you have a person that's, off to himself, segregated by himself, he will soon enough die. You know, we have to have connectivity, and oh, I was gonna go somewhere with that, and I lost it.
But let me say this, right? Because you said like men, they'll leave her with the kids and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think that's a very equal thing. My marriage ended why? Because my wife was like, I got married too young. You stole years from me. I never wanted to be a mama. And da da da. And she cut. Same reason why some of these dudes cut. My mother dropped me off on my dad's doorstep when I was 5 years old. Cut. So I just have a different perspective of I see women as shitty as men. So a
Yeah,
lot of
it's
times
equal. It's
women be
equal.
like, oh,
Yeah.
men this,
Yeah.
men that. Oh no, wait a minute. I done seen women do some really fucked up, shady shit.
Yeah,
It's, you know what I mean?
sure.
But everybody has their reasons for why they do what they do. You know, at the end of the day, I was heartbroken when my marriage ended, but I wasn't really mad at her. It's a consequence you're going to have to deal with. I knew what the fuck she was going out there to. She thought she was finna go out there and ride with her friends and live it up and all. You don't even know how to do that. You can't even keep a job to run with your friends the way you want to. They off in Vegas and they tripping here and there. You don't even keep a job enough to pay for the fucking plane ticket to go with them. You think not being married to me is gonna garnish you? Okay. So I was more in the go experience life, go do your thing. I went through my heartbreak of the family dissolving and all that shit. Picked up, carried on. Even that too, when a lot of people leave, what you think you leaving for, even in your situation, if he leave, what he think he gonna find, he ain't gonna find that. It's gonna be a turnaround. Oh, I fucked up. It is what it is. In times when you see like this want, and you think if I cut this off to get I can get it. I just need to cut this off. I've never really seen somebody like cut off a good thing for a better thing and get the better thing. I've never really seen. I've seen people like cut off something toxic and then get something better. But I've never seen somebody cut off something good and get something better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you could be in a fucked up, unhealthy relationship and cut that off, and that frees you for a lot of things, and you can heal, you can grow, and you can have a better relationship. You can't have a good person that you in a relationship with, cut them off, and then think you're gonna get a better person. That shit, karma don't work like that. I'm sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think that. Boredom. A lot of people, when they get boredom, I can permanently cut this person off and then go get something better. Well, you're going to get bored over there too. And then you're going to get bored over there. And then you're going to get bored over there.
Yeah, because contentment doesn't come from. It's not an external ingredient. It's what's going on the inside.
Now,
Just
let's-
like someone can bring you pleasure, but they're not going to make you happy.
True. And I've been in relationships.
They can
with
distract
women who
you.
made me really happy. Sex was trash. But I was okay with that. Because they made me happy.
Brought a smile to your face. Yeah. Yeah.
6 years I was in a monogamous relationship. Never cheated. Sex was kind of cool every once in a while. She made me really fucking happy. It was cool while it lasted. So
Okay.
let's get these young point of views.
Yeah.
Y'all
You
stay
just dominated
silent.
the airway, huh?
Man,
Thanks for listening.
it's hard for me to have like a solid opinion on this because I'm so young still and I'm just, starting out really and the bigger relative scope of things compared to y'all. So it's like I'm just a fucking baby. So I can really only go off of what I've seen and much of the experience as I have. So I feel like I'm really at this like crossroad because watching my mom, like, she told me when she was pregnant with me, she wanted to divorce my dad. Like, she wanted to leave. But she stayed for another 14, 15 years. And that, growing up as a naive child, kind of innocent to the world, you think, oh, my mommy and daddy are going to be together forever. They're never going to break up. But, as I grew up, I started noticing them yelling more. Like, it always was there. I just never really seen it. And then you get to a certain age where you're like, oh, daddy is saying really mean words to mommy. That is weird. That makes me uncomfortable. I can't listen to this. I have to go in the room and put the pillow over my head and just ignore it. And, that ended, and for good reasons. And it probably should have ended many, many years before that. But my mother doesn't regret it because she said I had 3 beautiful children that I would have never had. But it's just like such a push and a pull because it's like, but was the abuse worth it? Was the 15 years worth it for you to not be on the scene and not even know what is your hobby? What do you like to do? And then from my scope, as my relationships have gone, most of the time, I was the one getting cheated on. So they were never, it was a monogamous relationship, but they were always cheating or they had something on the side. One of them even had a whole girlfriend on the side, and I was actually the extra woman, and it was like total blindside. I didn't even see it coming. So in my experience, monogamy never worked. My mom's long marriage failed. It was abusive. It wasn't even good to begin with. My relationships failed, and it's just kind of like the monogamy never worked. So it's like, why? And I see all the points you make about polygamy and jealousy, and I do see it in the media a lot, how people kind of idolize this like possessiveness, like controlling of your partner, and it's like that never worked. If they want to fuck another bitch, like, they will find a way to do it. It's not
Most definitely.
yeah. And you're bitching and moaning to them, it's not even gonna change it. It might even push them to
Fuel
do it
it.
more.
Fuel
So
it.
it's like
Yeah.
and so it's like I'm kind of at a crossroads because it's like I grew up monogamous, so I have all these, and I feel what you're saying a lot because I grew up like that, so I connect with what you're saying, but then I also hear what Bobby is saying, and I'm like, man, that shit sounds right too, and it makes sense. So it's like, damn, I don't know, like, which way to go, and it's like I'm trying it out. I'm trying both sides. I'm trying to feel it out, see what is gonna work, but I don't know yet. But I'm just kind of soaking it all in.
The fluid thing, like, I've had poly relationships, I've had monogamous relationships.
Yeah.
I've been in your position. When I got married, I was monogamous. I didn't require her to be, because I knew she was bisexual. I knew she had desire for women. I kind of create my boundaries for what's gonna work. You know what I mean? Like, and sex and cheating isn't always what breaks up relationships, but I feel like a lot of those other things have kind of natural compromises and negotiations in them, right? Like my ex-wife, okay, you can't hold the job, just hold the fucking house down. I'll work, just hold the house down. So that was like a compromise. I could have pushed the line of you need to keep a job. She just what I had to realize, no, she's not a worker. She can't do that. Some people just can't fucking work. They can't function in the work class. Okay, stay home. You know what I mean? Take care of the kids, take care of the house. I'll work. I'll take on the burden of the financial shit. That was a compromise for that issue. Even though when I got married, I was monogamous and that's what I wanted, I didn't feel the need to close that off for her. You know what I'm saying? And then I've been in strict, just me and another woman monogamous relationships, and then I've been in open poly relationships. They all have their benefits, they all have their ups and downs. And you know, my only point is sometimes you just have to reassess where you're at in life, what you really want out of life, what kind of fucking relationship is really gonna work for you. I know a whole bunch of women that want these like really straight, real monogamous relationships, but you work 2 fucking jobs and you got 3 fucking kids. What type of relationship you think you can offer me? This is what you want, but you don't even have the time or capacity to offer that. You know, some people, because they only really have this one view, no matter what stage in life or what they're doing, this is what they're trying to have. And it's like, you may want that, but you don't even have that to offer. But they don't know other ways to, you know what I mean, have relationships.
Yeah.
You know, I do advise people not go into relationships and allowing the other person to have partners just out of fear of losing them if that's not what you can emotionally handle. You know what I mean? I have seen that in poly community where there are people in it, men and women, and they allow their partner to have other partners, not because they're okay with it and they believe that, they just don't want to lose that person. So they feel like, well, if I know and they're open with it, I'll be okay with it and it won't hurt like if somebody was lying to me. If you don't believe that that shit is okay, it's gonna hurt no matter how the fuck you hear it. Whether it was a lie or they came home and was like, oh, I just fucked so and so. It's gonna hurt the same. So if it's not something you can believe in, yeah, don't do that shit. You know.
You know, one thing that I want to say about belief, just because a person believes something doesn't really make it true. And it doesn't really change anything to the thing that the person believes in. It changes the person. Because you can change your beliefs. And that's what I was saying, that if a girl starts off saying this at one time and this is who she is at that time, by the time you get 20 years later, her convictions in that time span, as well as his, can change because they have power of influence over each other. And that's something that is not necessarily good or bad, but most of the time it is good and bad because you're coming together and you're bonding with one another, and the beauty of it is that your mind is different from mine. So when you share and we're sharing things in exchange, we come up with a medium where we're like this. And it's no longer me being me, but we actually do begin to warp into one. And sometimes it's not good, and sometimes it's not bad, and sometimes it just is what it is, and we're going to ride this thing out because it causes you to grow more and to expand and to really look within. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to look within and see, oh, can I do better than this somewhere? And see, as a spouse, you watch me grapple over a problem, and because you're on the outside, you can say, well, honey, if you would try this, that might help, you know. And there are times when in the marriage where you sometimes you have to slap them to get their I've been trying to tell you something, you're not paying attention, and sometimes you do have to say something to kind of jar them, to wake them up. And well, fuck, did you have to hit me? Yes. Because I've been trying to tell you this for a while. You're getting ready to hit a wall. And you cultivate such a rich relationship between you. But there has to be the preservative in monogamy and marriage is forgiveness and acceptance, both of yourself and the other person. Because no one wants to feel like, after I have been the raw me that I didn't even know was going to come up in this situation, that someone walks away from them like your dog shit. That's when people really start feeling low and break and crumble and, going into these different negative, that can bring about suicide and all of those different type of things. There's another beauty of the investment that you have with one another because you genuinely care. And one facet of love that happens with me is the part that where you're constantly giving, but it's a cycle of giving between the two of you, and it's not all this animosity, or when the animosity comes up because you're genuinely interested in each other's health, being, and welfare, that you investigate and try to find out what's happening, what's going on with that person. Not because it's out of control and I only want you to see me, but when you're investing in each other, it kind of happens. It kind of happens. Now all the negative shit happens too, because that's just human nature, and that's one thing that I wish that humanity would come to grips more, is to understand that I'm not good or bad. I'm both good and bad. And something in life is going to trigger it and bring it out. But when it's out, it is what it is. Whether it's, I cuss every once in a while, or I'm a klep, or I'm a nymph, and I can't get enough, and all these different things, because that's just the way life is. We can't program life and say, well, this is how life is going to show up, and this is how we're going to handle it. You ain't got that much knowledge. You don't have that much power. So you have to learn how to stay fluid. You can't get rigid. You have to stay open, and that's where creativity comes in. That's where outsourcing and stuff comes in. That's where, if you need a third person and you want to bring a third person in and they cool with it, that's when all that comes in. There's different things that you can do that enhances the relationship and doesn't kill it. But you have to be able to grow. You have to be open-minded. There's a lot of different things of how to expand when you're in a relationship. And when you're expanding together as a team is great. It's really beautiful. But there are times when you can outgrow each other.
Yeah.
That has happened to me not many times in marriage, but in different relationships. It's like, okay, I'm through with this. I'm going to have to go and let you go. There was this one high school relationship I had. I was in 10th grade, he was in 12th grade. And I was kind of shocked that he liked me. But anyway, when we ended our relationship, my best friend, she was digging on him. She was like, can I, can we hook up? I was like, I don't care, go ahead. It wasn't a good thing, because I already knew her mind wasn't going to be sharp enough to handle him. I already knew that, but I didn't hold it against her, and they want to hook up, and they was kind of like behind my back, kind of, and I saw it, and I was just like, okay, I see what's up, and I released it and let it go, and it didn't last long, and it was disastrous. But I think right now, after being monogamous in two relationships, I ain't seeking monogamy after this.
Penelope,
I want to
what
have
you got
fun.
say?
I mean, I don't have much to say. Like, I don't have much experience. I've always been a very monogamous person, but I think that's because I seek security in knowing that that person will be there for the rest of my life. But obviously, that doesn't happen, but that's like what I want. And so that's why I've always been very monogamous. And I think like a polyamorous relationship for me would be too hard to have because the things I'd say, like the conditions we'd have, would not match up with how I would feel when, with those boundaries. If I say, like, oh, yes, you can hook up with other women, like, I could say that and say, like, oh, yeah, I'd be okay with it. But if it did happen, like, I know myself so well and I would not be okay with that. And so, like, and I think, like, I'm not, shutting it out completely, but I think as of right now, like, I am not ready to have honestly like any type of relationship until I'm so like secure in myself and knowing that I am okay with who I am before
That is
I can be
great.
with anyone
That is
else.
great.
And I think that's important like in both relationships, honestly. And I think like the difference for me in like monogamous relationships is that I love like catering to people's needs and adapting to people's personalities and behaviors in ways that I can please them. But I also think like at that point, is it really you, or is that you just trying to be someone that they want you to be? And so I think that's like the beauty in like polyamorous relationships, where if they are not okay with you, like you can find someone else that is. So I think that's the beauty in polyamorous relationships. But but honestly, like naturally, like when I think about like polyamorous relationships, like for me personally, like I do have negative attributions to it. Like the feelings I would get thinking about like my partner being with someone else is just like not positive. But I think that's like something you can overcome like as you grow up and grow and just like have your personality develop to where you want to be, I guess.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, don't think it doesn't ever happen, like jealousy and stuff like that. It's just that in the poly community, when those feelings do come up, you gotta work on them.
Yeah.
Because it's not like I've never felt jealousy, you know what I'm saying? Or had some type of negative emotion over my partner's partner. But it always comes down to having to figure out why I feel that way,
Yeah.
what is that attached to, and having to work through that.
I guess like my only thing is like, so if you do have like let's say like an open relationship, like if your partner finds someone else that's different from you, like something that you don't have, like do you grow and try to be that person that they want you to be, or should you
No.
just be okay with that person having someone else that's not like you because they can fill that place that you don't have?
For me personally, that's how I look at it. If my partner has another partner, I don't look at that as a placement of me
Yeah.
or anything like that. I look at what that person is actually offering them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I may be bringing some things to the table. May have my attributes, and this person is totally different from me. You know what I mean? Like as people, we are so diverse in our likes,
Yeah.
music, food, moods, seasons. You could be with somebody who, hey, I got a UV allergy. I'm not big on summer and just being outside. It's painful. But I could be with somebody who loves summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that fair, you and her or you and him need to go to that. That motherfucker loves summer too. He loves farmers markets and being out in the blazing sun. I'll see you
Yeah.
tonight though.
But
You know
so
what I'm
like
saying?
but that's like something like you can't change about yourself, like you don't
Yeah.
like yeah,
And
but
then
if it's something like you can change about yourself, like should you
wouldn't
do
want
it? Okay.
like if say it's a personality thing, right?
Yeah.
And I'm happy with myself and this personality thing, I'm not gonna change it
Yeah.
for that
Yeah.
because that person has that, what you're looking for. But then too, like, so poly is not kind of like all inclusive. It's
Yeah.
like an open relationship is an open relationship.
Yeah.
Like a poly, you could have what's polyfidelity. Us four, no one else. Us three, no one else.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? You can have closed poly relationships. You have open relationships, and you have relationship anarchy. Like there are so many different, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
Relationship
forms
anarchy.
of
Wow.
relationship.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't handle relationship anarchy, right? Even in a poly relationship, I personally can't deal with more than two partners.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? There are some people they can have 4 or 5 partners. I don't know how the fuck they. When I was younger, I could do that, but I don't know how. At a certain age, you can still fucking do that. Like the dates, the time, the conversations, minus all the sexual shit, just the relationship shit. Because a lot of poly relationships are like a solid relation. We're in a relationship. We ain't just fucking.
Yeah.
So for me, I know like I couldn't have more than 2 partners. I couldn't be in relationship anarchy where I just fuck whoever I want and you fuck whoever you want.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't. That's too much for me.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Even in poly, you still have to know what your boundaries are, what you're okay with. You know what I'm saying? Like, I may be okay with you having a boyfriend. I may not be okay with you having 4 boyfriends.
Well, see, that's
That
what,
may be too much.
that's
for
the
me.
visual I was having in my head. You know, having 4 or 5 plus.
Just unlimited.
Partner. Exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
And you just roaming about just indiscriminately
Yeah,
between
some
all these
people
different
do,
people.
some people
That's
don't.
what
That's
I was
the thing.
saying.
Like my homegirl Michelle, they're in a triad. They've been in a closed triad for like 20 years. It's her boyfriend, her husband. There's no, they don't have other women. That's none of that. The group of 5, there's no outside of that. They all live in the same house on the same land that they all put money together and buy. They've been that way for a little more than 15. You know what I mean? Like it literally is constrained by what you can deal with, what you can handle, what works for you. You know what I mean? When I was younger, I could have 3, 4 girlfriends. I could emotionally, physically, and spiritually be there. I was younger. I had more energy. I could do that. You know what I mean? Now I can't do that shit. My kids are fucking teenagers and all grown, and I just don't have that energy inside me for the conversations, for the dates, for the dinners, for the going out, for the walks, for the all the other shit outside the sexual. I ain't got the energy for all that. That's when I get bored. Like, man, I don't really give a shit what happened at work. Look, I'm taking a nap. I'll call you after my nap. You know what I mean? I just know. But even that point, even getting to that point of realizing I couldn't handle that anymore, it fucks with your manhood a little bit. It's like, oh damn, but then I had to get over that and realize, no, I'm just at a different stage in my life, and that shit is just not plausible. It's not, you know what I mean? It just don't work. And being okay with what works, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like I say, my relationship styles is fluid. I'm in a monogamous relationship. I'm happy.
Well, this is kind of for me. This conversation is really helping me thaw out because being in religion it does refrigerate you. It refrigerates your mind. It just. I've had conversations with Christians who think that they think of Buddha like the same way they think of Christ. I was like trying to tell them your concept is wrong, and they just argued and argued with me like they were like they created this concept of who it just totally fucked up.
You know how hard
And
it
I'm
is to
trying to
explain
tell them
some Christians,
everybody is not
God in our lives is the
monotheistic.
same fucking dude. You know how hard it is to get someone to believe that?
Yeah,
Like it's the same dude. It's the same people in both them books.
there's so many. Yeah, yeah. There's and they're so. It's really ugly to look at that because I have to come I have to come to the full realization that I used to be like that. I was explaining to one of my friends. She was like, "How did you stop being a Christian? How did you? I don't understand that." So I gave her an analogy. I said, "Can you, if you can imagine yourself having lived in this house, but just lived in this house for years and years and years, and I mean decades. You were raised in it, you know, and then one day you go outside the house and you look back at the house and you look at the house and it's so old, it's condemned, it's falling apart, and it's just raggedy. You know, while you're living in it, you don't see all of that. You see all the benefits that it provides.
And that's
Shelter
why
from the cold. It's a place of identity where I grew up at. It's a familiar environment. I feel safe here, and you have all of these traditions that's happening in this dwelling. And then here
that's
comes
a
the
lot of institutions.
yeah. I was like, then somebody comes. You have to move out because it's falling apart, and you look back and say, "God damn, I used to live in that." That's how I feel about Christianity.
I feel you. Like
It's
I said, I grew up in the Catholic
absolutely
church, man.
poisonous. It's poisonous. It's poisonous. And people, I've had people. Oh, she's possessed with the devil. Oh, she's
She's
evil.
going to hell.
She's going straight to hell.
Here we go.
You know, and
What do I say about
she's
that?
the Antichrist. And I was like, you're goddamn right.
What do I say about that? I
What?
have never heard a depiction of heaven that ever made me want to go there. Like when I've had Christians be like, "Oh, you go to hell for that." Well, that's where I'm trying to go because
Well,
heaven sounds boring as
the
fuck.
truth of it is y'all already in hell right here, and you're causing it.
None of the fun people
You're
go
the
to heaven.
briquettes.
God damn.
None of the fun people go, if you really think about it, none of the fun people go to heaven. In the Torah, the Torah, they don't really talk about heaven much, but the Holy Bible, the Quran, the Baha'u'llah Bible, all of it, when they depict heaven, it is an eternity of servitude and worship to God. Most depictions, you don't even know the people that you knew on earth. It's a total reset. I don't want to do that shit. I don't want to just be in white fucking clouds and worshiping just for eternity. That doesn't sound like the prize. Wait a minute, all the hookers and hoes and drugs and shit is down there. Can I get down there? 'Cause they having a party down there. I want to go down there.
Yeah, she down there smoking all that stuff and can't stop. Girl, go on, get your puff on. I ain't mad at you. Shit. Yeah.
But concepts are dangerous sometimes when you can't break out of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's my only thing.
But that's bondage.
Whatever works for you, I respect that. I just don't respect it when it ain't working and you ain't trying to figure it out. And I
Okay.
go, oh, that's a
Yeah.
problem.
I can dig that. I
Yeah.
can really understand that. Yeah.
So on that note, we're gonna wrap it up. I would like to thank everybody for listening, staying tuned,
Yep.
and we'll catch you next time.
Peace.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you for listening. And if you like the show and you want to help us grow, please like, subscribe, and share this podcast or just an episode that you like the most. And also leave us a 5-star review on iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, or wherever you catch us. If you would like to make a donation to the show, please go to our page at hklogic.podbean.com and become a patron of the show. If you would like to contact us, you can email us at hardknocklogic@gmail.com or leave us a voicemail at 510-255-4546. Again, that's 510-255-4546. And you can always catch all of our content on this network at hklogic.podbean.com. Hope you come back. Hope you give us another listen. Peace.